That word glitch, when we're talking to the SBA about people repaying loans that if you don't make the payments have very severe and serious consequences, which literally can follow you through the rest of your personal life, never mind your professional one. You don't want to be told, oh, it's just a glitch. Good day. Good day. Good day. I mean, I'm not Australian. I was born in England. I'm Trevor, the EIDL expert. You're a small business owner. You got a COVID-19 EIDL, economic injury disaster loan from the Small Business Administration. Stay tuned, because we're going to talk about, wait, SBA can't be trusted to accept your payment? WTAF. That's today's video. And if you are not one of those business owners who got a COVID loan, you will be very confused with this video. We recently did a video in response to a former client of ours who owns a small lawnmower sales and service facility not far from our house here in Connecticut. And he sent us an email saying, hey, I don't understand. I set up my payments on the My SBA portal with the automated payment, or what SBA calls recurring payment, because again, as always, SBA can't use normal plain English like the rest of the planet. Maybe SBA thinks it's its own unique nation. I don't know. In any event, recurring payments, and he had his payments set up on that recurring payment plan, and he received a notice from the SBA that they were calling in his entire 61,000 COVID EIDL because of delinquent payments. And he went into the My SBA portal and lo and behold discovered, wait a minute, what happened to the recurring payments? Wait, this has a finite period of time? And I drove over to his little shop, and he put a new blade on our chainsaw for Linda Ray, who likes to chainsaw things here on our property. I know how to start the chainsaw, and that's about as close to those things as I get. In any event, while he put a blade on the chainsaw, he logged into the My SBA portal. I had a look at his account, and I was as confused as any 30-year veteran of financing industry service professionals could be. I don't even know how you small business owners manage the repayment systems at the My SBA portal. It's completely nuts. So on today's video, we're going to talk about that briefly. If you could take a quick minute to hit that thumbs up and tell YouTube to share this video with other small business owners with COVID EIDLs just like you. And if you're not already subscribed, please do so, because 7 out of 10 of you watch our videos and take advantage of our free expert advice, but you're not subscribed to the channel. Please do that and hit the bell for notifications so that you find out when I come on here with more crazy stories about the Small Business Administration's COVID EIDL program. We posted the video, and this comment appeared afterwards, and it was kind of funny. This comment is from Olivia and Little Jojo. Hi, Olivia and Little Jojo. Olivia and Little Jojo writes, you should not trust the SBA with accepting your payment? What? With a laughing, crying emoji. Now, I will tell you, I responded to this comment, even though Linda Ray and I have kind of a rule, which is, we tend to be very careful how we respond to comments, but I felt like maybe Olivia and Little Jojo were kind of condescending to my advice, and so I took umbrage. I was slightly insulted. And I wrote back, before you ask a question like this, please watch the videos we did last year that you will find in our U.S. Treasury playlist of videos. And that's why I came on here with this video today, because we have seen this problem with the SBA's repayment systems now going on almost 2 years. It was in August, September of 2022 when I contacted one of our clients who owns a small convenience store outside of Boston, and he was probably the 4th or 5th client who hired us during the pandemic to get him approved for a COVID loan, which we did successfully, and got him a loan increase and assisted him with other things. And back in 2022, I contacted him and I said, hey, you're going to be my test case so that I can understand how these systems work, and that helps inform the advice I give here on YouTube and in our various guidebooks and on our 1-hour consulting calls. And he agreed to that. Immediately, we had a problem. This is before the My SBA portal. This was when you still had to create something on pay.gov/Capital Access Finance System, CAFS. And it took me about 60 to 90 days to resolve the issue of an email address, the email address had been registered with the SBA since the original days of the application. And I got somebody on tech support who said, oh, this is it, and that's it, and we had it fixed. And by then, this client was delinquent by one payment. Ultimately, I calculated the arrears, and he was able to make an additional payment, bring it current. But that's just the beginning. Then we had our client, Freddie. You've heard me speak about him before. He hired us last year during the U.S. Treasury mess. And in fact, he was interviewed by ℬ𝒜𝒦𝒪𝒰𝒩𝒟𝒮 of NBC Universal last year when Louis contacted me for information about the SBA program. And I told him about this complete dysfunction, about how small business owners are having struggles making payments on the loan. And in the case of Freddie, if you want to click on the link and read the article, you're welcome to do so. This is a guy who got a $150,000 COVID loan for his entertainment business, subsequently was approved for the shuttered venue grant and said, I don't need the $150,000 loan. I want to give it back to the SBA so they can give it to someone else who could use that money. I think that was an honorable intention on Freddie's part. And he contacted SBA. And again, this is before the My SBA portal. This is September. This is actually August of 2021. Long before the My SBA portal, probably before even pay.gov. But SBA says to him on the phone, well, you go to pay.gov and you create an account. So Freddie did that and authorized repayment of $150,000. The SBA never took the money out of his bank account. True story. And he called SBA. He said, hey, you guys didn't take the money. I authorized the payment. Oh, probably just a glitch. Which is, by the way, the same thing they said to me in 2022 with the email confusion I had from my convenience store test case guinea pig client. It's just a glitch. I hate that word glitch on this channel. On our other channel, Simple Sense for Small Business, Linda Ray created the Biz Glitch Project, which is the mistake of the day. And if you want to know about mistakes that we've made, we've seen other people make, that you should not make in your business, you should click on the link and pop over there and subscribe to that channel while you're at it. In any case, with Freddie, back in September 2021, he attempted for a second time through pay.gov to make that payment, and still SBA did not take the money from his account. Hires us in early 2024 because he got a letter from U.S. Treasury that he was in default for not making payments because he had not been making payments. He had been calling the SBA constantly, dozens and dozens and dozens of times, sending emails, sending letters saying, hey, you guys got to fix this because I tried to pay you back in September of 2021 and you should not be charging me interest on money that I gave you permission to take back from my bank account. And here he gets a letter from U.S. Treasury, a loan's in collection. Well, we assisted him last year. We got the loan recalled, and it is back. It was back in regular payment through the Hardship program, which now no longer exists at SBA. Yet another failure of SBA's repayment systems, which is why Olivia and little Jojo, what? Yeah, what? Crying, smiling emoji. Ultimately, we continued the fight, but we just couldn't get anybody to SBA to acknowledge that they made this mistake and they should waive all of the interest accrued since September of 2021, since that first payment. Ultimately, Freddie just paid the whole thing off in March or April of this year, 2025. He's got an attorney working on it. I haven't spoken to him in a little bit, so I don't know the update. But you hear these crazy stories like this, and this is just a smattering. 3 days ago, on a 1-hour consulting call, I spoke with a small business owner who said to me that he kept using the word custom payments. Custom payments, do you mean hardship payment? And we kind of sorted it out on the phone. Turns out, SBA had contacted them and a couple of years ago and said, hey, you could do hardship payments. And so they've been doing that. But they've kind of been sort of doing it on their own. Their hardship payment is supposed to be around $73 a month. And I when we looked at their payment history the other day on the consulting call, I could see the payments there. But then after that, it's supposed to revert from 10% of the monthly payment up to 50%, ultimately 7%. But instead, this business owner customized their own payments. And basically, they were paying like $100 a month. They were paying what they could afford. Creating their own payment plan. Which, by the way, we do not recommend that you do that. Do not create your own payment plan. Because if you become 120 days delinquent, by federal regulation, the SBA must assign your debt to the U.S. Treasury for collection enforcement. And believe me, that is a horror show you do not want to go to. You do not want your file to go to U.S. Treasury. If that's where you are, because we got a comment the other day from someone who said, there's nothing I can do, I'm just going to let it go to Treasury. And I encourage that person to hire an attorney and file a bankruptcy. And we've done videos on bankruptcy here. You can find them in our playlist. In any event, on the call with this business owner, I calculated based upon the end of the 30-month deferment period, based upon the date of when they got the original COVID loan, which was July 2020, and how many payments in terms of total dollar they should have made between the end of the 30 months and today's date, or a couple of days ago. And we calculated basically what their true delinquent arrears are. And I encouraged them to try to find the money and bring that loan current, or at least within a 90-day delinquency, because SBA says that if you're at 120 days, the federal regulations goes to Treasury. That math, along with the other advice that I have created last year with regards to U.S. Treasury situations, like don't use the recurring payment system, unlike our lawnmower sales and service guy, issues with what happens if you can't get the payment taken out, like basically how to be vigilant. It's not like when you set your credit card payment, your car payment, your mortgage, on a payment system with your bank account. You just do ACH and it flies out, because I know in the year 2025, nobody writes checks anymore. It is not that simple with the SBA. You have to do all this extra work just to ensure that the SBA takes your payment out and then gives you credit for the payment on time and does not mark your payment delinquent. Going back to our convenience store client, I had him approved for hardship accommodation. We had him approved last year into earlier this year, and 6 months. But I discovered that it was actually 5. Like, wait, okay, maybe this has something to do with that previous delinquency. So I let it go. And I mentioned this on the previous video we did. But then when I got him approved for an extension of the hardship accommodation, and I have the letter that says, your payments are good through July of 2025, except we get a notification in May saying that in June, your payment reverts back to the original full payment. That means only 5 instead of 6 months of hardship payments. And now with the STPAP's short-term payment assistance program, 6 months, 50%, what does that mean? Are you going to get 5 payments? Are you going to get 6? And all this confusion causes you small business owners not only to be massively confused, not only to have to bring all this extra effort just to paying back this simple loan payment, but also puts you in jeopardy if you are not vigilant and monitoring the account. And that's why I've created a new guidebook, which was selling at a very low price, called How to Understand the SBA Payment System. And it distills all of the advice I've given to people between the U.S. Treasury mess, between our convenience store client, lawnmower client, and the other folks. Going back to the comment here, I indicated here, clients doubled and triple checked with their banks because the business owners thought they were wrong in terms of a payment that they thought had been coming out of their account. But they weren't. SBA literally failed, I wrote, to request the funds. Watch the playlist and learn. And then follow our advice to triple check that your payments have been received by SBA. And Olivia and little Jojo came back very nicely. And this is why we appreciate so many of you folks in our audience. And by the way, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. Please hit the thumbs up to tell YouTube to share this video with other small business owners with COVID loans. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm saying that it is highly unusual. Furthermore, if you were then sent to the next level of government, bad boy hell, because of that screw up, you'd be pretty covered with the paper trail eventually. When you say it is highly unusual, yes, it is highly unusual in terms of normal payment systems that you encounter for your mortgage, your car payment, your credit card, your rent. But it is not highly unusual with the Small Business Administration, because I have now personally seen this with hundreds of small business owners going all the way back to 2022, and with Freddie, who hired us last year, and hundreds of other folks that I encountered last year and continue to meet and discuss their payment problems when we do 1-hour consulting calls with people, or people who send us emails, or people who comment on our YouTube videos about the payment anomalies, payment confusion, payment disasters at the SBA. So Olivia and Little Jojo, Linda Ray and I truly appreciate you. We thank you for commenting. It is not highly unusual. And, you know, when you say if you were sent to the next level of government bad boy hell, you'd be pretty covered with the paper trail. Good luck, because Freddie had a paper trail and it got us nowhere. I spoke to the SBA, to an excellent, very experienced SBA representative. We sent correspondence to the SBA's Office of the Ombudsman, to the OIG. Crickets. There's no paper trail. Meanwhile, they had sent Freddie's loan to the U.S. Treasury for collections, which added 30% penalty to the $150,000 loan that he'd been trying to pay back for 2.5 years. You know, penalties and interest, and then private collection agencies and all that garbage. There is a paper trail, but it doesn't matter to the SBA. If you wish to purchase our guidebook to understand the basics of how you can protect yourself, protect your good credit with the federal government, protect yourself from going into default, calculate what your true arrears are, and on, it's in this new guidebook we created. On that note, I would like to ask you to tell us your repayment horror stories in the comments of today's video. And if you'd like to watch that other video we did about our friend with the lawnmower sales and service, Linda Ray's going to put it somewhere on the screen. I don't know where. I never know when I do these videos here at the dining room table where she's going to put it. But here it is, someplace on the screen right now, while I say thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time around.